Hey, 8th graders, starting a new chapter today in science. It is called Genetics, the Science of Heredity. So our lesson for lesson 1 is called What is Heredity? So my planet diary is a biography called Almost Forgotten. Just move my bubble here. So it says, when scientists make great discoveries, sometimes their work is praised, criticized, or even forgotten. Gregor Mendel was almost forgotten. He spent 8 years studying pea plants, and he discovered patterns in the way characteristics pass from one generation to the next. For almost 40 years, people overlooked Mendel's work. When it was finally rediscovered, it unlocked the key to understanding heredity. So, our key questions: what did Mendel observe, and how do alleles affect inheritance? So, heredity is the passing of traits from parents to offspring. Trait is a specific characteristic that an organism can pass to its offspring through its genes. Genetics is the scientific study of heredity. Fertilization is the process in sexual reproduction in which an egg cell and a sperm cell join to form a new cell. Purebred is an offspring of crosses that has the same form of traits. So the P generation has tall and short, and that's the parental. So then the first filial, the first group under them would be tall, 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 tall. The second filial is tall, 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 short. In all of his crosses, Mendel found that the only one form of the trait appeared in the F1 generation. However, in the F2 generation, the lost form of the trait always reappeared in about 1/4 of the plants. So a gene is a sequence of DNA that determines a trait and is passed from parent to offspring. Alleles are the different forms of a gene. An organism's traits are controlled by the alleles it inherits from its parents. Some alleles are dominant, while other alleles are recessive. So a dominant allele is an allele whose trait always shows up in the organism when the allele is present. A recessive allele is an allele that is hidden whenever the dominant allele is present. So inheritance of pea plants studied by Mendel. So the parent two are on the top, and then the first filial is on the bottom. So you have seed shape of round, seed color yellow, pod shape smooth, pod color green, flower color purple, flower position side, and stem height tall. But you can have a hybrid, which is an offspring of crosses that has 2 different alleles for a trait. So you can see the parent at the top, tall, tall, is purebred. TT, lowercase, would be the short one as a purebred. So then the first filial is going to be tall with a big T and a little t, so it's a hybrid, saying all plants inherit one dominant allele and one recessive allele. These plants are all tall. Plants may inherit 2 dominant alleles. These plants are tall. Plants may inherit 1 dominant allele. Sorry, let me move this. And 1 recessive allele. These plants are tall. Plants may inherit 2 recessive alleles. These plants are short. The only way that you're going to have the recessive one is if both alleles are recessive. Okay, so our vocab: heredity, the passing of traits from parents to offspring. Trait, a specific characteristic that an organism can pass to its offspring through its genes. Genetics, the scientific study of heredity. Fertilization, the process in sexual reproduction in which an egg cell and a sperm cell join to form a new cell. Purebred, an offspring of crosses that has the same form of traits. Gene, a sequence of DNA that determines a trait and is passed from parent to offspring. Alleles, the different forms of a gene. Dominant allele, an allele whose trait always shows up in the organism when the allele is present. Recessive allele, an allele that is hidden whenever the dominant allele is present. And hybrid is an offspring of crosses that has 2 different alleles for traits. So please complete the Edmodo questions for lesson 1. If you have any questions on this assignment or on the lesson, please let me know. Otherwise, have a wonderful day.